Hello?
The thing that's
Oh
different
Christ, I'm getting advertisements. Oh no.
Have the whole place to yourself.
Hey, hey! Get out of here. What the heck was that about? I can't even be mad at whatever you're doing over there in your gremlin corner. I'm getting freaking piano doodles from some freaking insurance company or something. Starting soon screen is, though. It's still up for sure. Welcome, Miss Stove. You didn't even show up on my viewer list yet. That's how fast you came in here to yell at me. The sheer power of knowing you can't just take it down. I could. Actually, you know what? You think I don't have the power in this? What if I just leave it up the whole stream? Now look what you've done. You've put me in an impasse. You know how insecure I am. And how much I just crave toxic masculinity in all of its forms. I could just leave this up out of spite. Burn down the whole planet. Scorched earth policy, baby. I'm gonna leave this here for the whole time. Because then you're just starting. Don't even get me started. You'd have to start. Don't even get me started is what I'm gonna say to that. You can't even get me started. I can only choose when to start. I have the power. Me. The goblin. Ignore the fact that I'm in jail. Don't even get me started right now. I'm telling you, look, you got me freaking started, dude. I told you not to get me started. Now you got me started. Alright, we're doing comic pages today, as we always do. Because it's what I want to do with my life. If I didn't have to work, I'd be doing this for like 12 hours at least. For sure. Do I have Clip Studio open? I do. There it is. I gotta fix all this. There, yeah, I knew I would be dead from the moment I woke up this morning. Hey, yo. Put the goblin on the screen and oh, nobody gets hurt. There I am. And my mouth is working. Kind of? Alright, there was like a delay for a second. It's gone now. Perfect. Alright, so there's a wee bit of something I gotta do before we do the backgrounds. Also, no, I gotta restart my drawing tablet. I did it. I got Tears of the Kingdom. It showed up today, actually. I pre-ordered it yesterday, and it showed up today, which is nuts to me. But I was playing it earlier. It's a pretty freaking sick opening, I'll give it that much. A lot better than Breath of the Wild's opening. Which is, oh, you're asleep. Aren't you stupid? You've been sleeping for like 100 dang years or something. Idiot? What's up with that? I was supposed to get here pretty soon. I'm excited for you. I've been having a great time. For like I've been playing it for like the past hour before I started streaming, and I was like, I'm gonna stream. Even though I really want to keep playing this for 12 hours, I'm gonna stream, and then I'm gonna play it for 12 hours, because I have a day off today. So I'm definitely gonna no-life that and just recede into my couch cushions. Never to be seen again. I can't click on Clip Studio Paint for some reason. Excuse me, you can see my mouse there. What is going on? Excuse me? Why is everything broken? Oh, I just want to stream. Is that too much to ask? Evidently, yes. Ah, well, it's working. Okay. Thank you. Jesus Christmas. Technology. Tears of the Kingdom, or like Tears of the Capital is big, so you don't get to make money off of you for the next 24 hours. I know. You know, it sucks. I got full time, and I assumed my days off would be Friday and Saturday. That way I could still reliably drop into Swan's, at least one of Swan's streams per week. But unfortunately, they said the 2 extra days you're picking up are Monday and Friday. So I have Wednesdays off, and who the heck needs Wednesday? Who does anything on a Wednesday? That's like that's the dumbest day off I've ever had. So I have Saturdays off and Wednesdays. What is that? That's nothing. That's the dumbest schedule I've ever heard of, and it's mine. I am the benefactor of such a ridiculous schedule. Thank you, capitalism. Not only are you annoying, but you're inconsistent as well. Can't even be annoying in a normal way. My computer feels laggier than usual. Wednesdays suck, and I'm pretty sure are awful. I think they're also, maybe, tell me if I'm out of line here, they're bad. Well, that's just me. Maybe. Maybe. When will you wear wigs? Hi, lady, what's your hand looking like? Get all this line art out of my face. I need to see the actual line art that I'm doing right now. Actually, you know what I should do? Since these are supposed to be parallel lines, I should just do this. I lurk and unfortunately have to do things with lurk as long as you like. As long as you need. I will be here if you hang around, decide to project your thoughts in here again, show your face around these parts. This dude's totally just leaving to play Tears of the Kingdom. He said it was showing up later today, but it's definitely in his house right now. I know this. Can't hide it from me. You don't gotta explain yourself, I would just like the truth. I keep drawing these at a diagonal. They're not supposed to be at a diagonal. They're supposed to be straight. No. What are you doing? Is this good streaming? Is this what you just occasionally sing along to the audio that's playing? Is this good radio? Oh, my screen's black. I tried to save the canvas while looking away. I turned back. There's a void. Staring right at me. I will say, Breath of the Wild, and by extension this new Tears, I'm not going to spoil anything obviously, but Tears of the Kingdom is an extension. Those games, they'll beat you up if you forget the controls, which I have over the years. I haven't played Breath of the Wild in probably literal years since I got all the shrines. I never did all the Korok seeds because that sounds stupid, and it is very dumb. It's literally completionist fodder because Nintendo hates completionists for some reason. I don't know. It felt like a weird little vendetta thing, just specifically to spite them. Your reward for getting all of the Korok seeds in Breath of the Wild, as many people know, is a big pile of Dookie, so that's cool, and it does nothing for you. But yeah, I was saying if you haven't, so since I haven't done any of that, I haven't played Breath of the Wild in years. I forgot all the controls, and I haven't died yet in Tears of the Kingdom, but I've almost died many times. It's very hard to die in I think in Breath of the Wild engine Zelda games, at least so far. I haven't made it that far in Tears of the Kingdom. Sorry, I'm just rambling while my save file takes forever to finish, by the way, but you can always just like spam food into your mouth. Keep yourself, it's like Skyrim strats. Just get the cheese wheels, you'll never die. Infinite life. But yeah, I haven't died yet, but my lack of awareness for the buttons and what they do and where they are, it's definitely showing a bit. I have faced some, I shall say, I'll call it turbulence on my way through the first couple of hours. First hour or two of the game. And not all of that was even particularly related to combat either. Some of that was related to just movement. Like just moving around. I felt like a dang fish out of water. Floppy flopping all over the place. This isn't my habitat, is what it felt like. I'm supposed to be elsewhere. I'm supposed to be in a Dark Souls game or a Devil May Cry game. That is where I'm in my element. I can press the buttons and I know what they feel like and how they do. Breath of the Wild, I forgot entirely. I have no idea what I'm doing. What the heck is the backflip button? I don't know. I found out, but I didn't know when I was panicking. Alright, now we can actually... This page moved so much quicker than this one. Probably because I had to draw a lot less eyeballs. A lot less faces. But I have two faces, and then 3 technically in profile, and profile is so much easier to draw than like a front-facing thing, or anything where you have to do the dreaded other eye, so to speak. Which I have a hit or miss history with myself. I'm sure some people can relate. But yeah, when I don't have to draw a face, it's like, wow! It's so much faster. It's almost like manga artists, if you look at literally any of the big names, most of their panels are just like random objects, or a panel where the face isn't even shown. You don't even gotta do that, it's just a secondary, like there's a hand reaching for something on like a table. There's this panel I'm looking at right now in the Full Metal Alchemist manga, because I have it behind me and it's just convenient. There's a dog. This panel's a fist, just raising up in the air. To the credit of this manga, though, there are quite a few panels with faces, though. They're all very expressive and they're all very interesting. And the action is well composed. Whatever, we all know you're great, alright? You don't gotta rub it in. Oh, I'm back to the secretary character. Or I've stumbled upon the page with the secretary character. Is she the librarian? I forget. She looks like the deadly lady with the vacuum cleaner, whose name I forget, from Hunter x Hunter. Part of the Phantom Troop. I don't know. They both kind of look like if Velma was an anime character. That's the closest approximation I can give. I was opening up color reference, by the way, so I can steal that from myself again. Everything takes so long. My computer's been real slow lately. I'm getting worried about my the old thing, the old rig here, the old pile of chips and wires. I think it might be approaching terminal velocity, so to speak, the point of no return. Which means I should probably back up my pages sooner rather than later onto a USB drive, because it's starting to feel like I am running out of time, which is never a good thing to feel when you have a PC. And well, I have money now as a result of having a job, but I don't have new PC money. That's a little out of the cards right now, even for me. Man with new job. And we just swapped out the GPU, me and a buddy of mine, so it'd be like, ugh, it would feel so annoying to have had him do that and then have to immediately swap out the freaking parts, or just get a new PC. That would be what they say, what the kids call cringe. I've noticed I haven't made, because usually when I do pages, I like to have one panel deleted so that there's room for the. It just makes the page feel more dynamic. I like to at least have an opening somewhere. But it appears I have forgotten to do so. I could always turn one of these panels into the opening. Wouldn't even be that hard per se. But which one do I pick? I usually pick these long horizontal ones, so I would kind of want to mix it up a little bit. Could do the top left. I don't want to open up the top left. But then I would have to draw all this stuff here. I'm not opposed to drawing stuff. You know, it should be a moment where I want there to be a bit of a pause, so why don't we instead take this, move these out of this, and then delete this. Why are you not deletable, sir? Why can I not remove you from this realm? It won't let me delete the border. Excuse me. New layer. Delete. Delete. Okay, now it'll let me do it. Weird. Alright, we did it though. Alright, I have my opening. Cool. I like having those. They make the page more interesting in my opinion. At least for the style of comic that I am doing. It keeps it a little bit more open. It makes your paneling less apparent that it's paneling, and that's just something I like. It feels a little bit more organic, you know? And it allows you to color code the outskirts of the panels in a way that's a little bit it's a little bit more rooted in the environment that you're drawing. God, even my cell brush is like laggy AF. Look at this. What is going on? This is messed up. Does no one else see how messed up this is? I don't mean to be a complainer, but this is like, ew. This is unfortunate. Alright, now it's good. A little bit, kinda. Ooh. Like I said, this PC, it worries me nowadays. It's, troubling me. Like, look at this. It's drawing now. Why? I didn't tell you to do that. Stuff is freaking out, man. My computer is freaking out. I don't even have like a billion Google Chrome tabs open anymore. That used to be my life, but now I don't even do that. All the time. Some of the time I can do it. No, don't do diagonal. That blur tool is going to literally explode my CPU. I'm going to shrink that a little bit. And then we'll move this over a bit. Now that the panel border is gone, it needs to be shifted to be composed properly. I'm lucky that I chose inside this wooden structure here to be the interior for this scene. If I started off doing environmental stuff with foliage and what have you, I would have had to do a lot more building my own brushes, looking around for brushes to use to hold myself over till I have my own foliage brushes and grass brushes and stuff. I am going to need to make those at some point. Might have to look at a couple tutorials because I don't know how to do that. I know you can do it so there's a gradient, so that there's a value up on top that gets darker as it goes towards the bottom. You can kind of fill in for ambient lighting that way, simply by way of the brush being how it is. That's pretty interesting. I did like that idea, so I might take that into account. Just makes it quicker and easier. And dirtier. But it wouldn't be dirtier in a way that makes me feel like I've actually compromised the quality of my work, which is something that would happen if I use something like, oh, I don't know, 3D models perhaps? AI assistance. AI-assisted comic making. Like, if you have a medical reason, sure, why not? Run it. Obviously, I'm not gonna speak ill of that. But if you're just a guy, or a lady, or anyone else, fucking don't use AI. Stop it. I'll freaking hit you. Metaphorically, so I'm not copping a lawsuit over it. But AI-assisted comic making, apparently it's becoming a bit of a thing on Webtoons. I saw a Reddit post about it, which means it must be an epidemic. But jokes aside, I wouldn't put it. It strikes me as entirely plausible that that is a rising issue on the platform, or on any comic making platform. It certainly is a problem for other non-comic art platforms like Twitter or Reddit itself, you know? ArtStation literally just said, yep, AI is allowed, and so did DeviantArt. I don't know if they've actually backpedaled since they made those statements. My gut says probably not, just given the nature of things. And how averse to change companies are, especially when they see a potential profit margin to be had, like with AI technology. Is that really the user base you want, DeviantArt? A bunch of people that just clickety-clack in a prompt and boom, they've generated 14 discrete hentai girls to upload to their profile in nanoseconds. No fetish is safe now. They are all fair game with AI. You don't even have to draw it now. Just let the AI robots do it. Sorry, I'm yawning. AI bores me so much. I can't even talk about it. I can't discuss its negative repercussions without yawning out of extreme boredom. That is what it does to me. I wonder if I'll get a Twitter notification in the middle of this stream, and I wonder if it'll be a lewd. It most certainly will. Almost always is. I don't even do anything to influence it anymore. It's just, it is what it is, and I can't alter it. I can't change the future. Shulk lied to me. We can change the future? Who's we? Certainly not I. Apparently. I would have known if I could change the future by now. Certainly not. I wouldn't be working at this grocery store if I could. But would I change the past to change the future? That's the question. The answer is no. I'm too scared of what I would mess up. If I went back into like my 10-year-old body with the knowledge I have now, it'd be a nightmare, first of all, because I'd have to live through just like approximately 7 or 8 years before I even started to feel like myself again as a grown adult man. But also because I would even with all that information, I would just royally beef it in some capacity. I don't care if I would be a gifted student earlier in life, or perceived as one because I had all this knowledge from, now. But I would find some way to just throw that all away. Because at the end of the day, I'm only as smart as your average 23-year-old guy. At least I like to think so. I could be below average, you know? Speaking of George Carlin bits, I believe it was a George Carlin bit when he said, think about the average person. And then think about the fact that 50% of the population is dumber than that guy. And it's like, that's a very salient point, actually. The most average human being in the world, half of the planet, is dumber than him. To some capacity. Isn't that frightening? Terrifying thought. Excuse me, Eclipse Studios, I'm lagging so much. This OST is so good. I haven't even played this game. I really should. I've been watching gameplay for like weeks now, and I'm like, ugh. I've already spent so much money though. Recently. I bought Tears of the Kingdom. I bought Fear and Hunger, which isn't that expensive. That's like $8, but it's $8 less than I had before. I bought some Mother's Day gifts because, of course, my mother, she do be a good one. So you know, you gotta real respect real there. Could have been a bad mother. Definitely wasn't, but she could have been. And in that case, she would be getting no presents. But she's a good one, so I do have to... I don't have to, but I want to... you know, reciprocate some of that providing for me, as you do on Mother's Day. Especially now that I have money to do so. It's only right. And then I was going to plan on reimbursing Swan for the headset at some point. I can say that because she's not in here to get mad at me for even suggesting that she get money. Because it does feel like I barely even used this headset, even though it's been like a couple months worth of streams. We're on like stream 59 now, so a couple months worth of streams by now. If I were to get a new mic, I would have to. I wouldn't feel right if it, you know, having only used this for as short of a duration as I have. So when I get a broadcaster mic that lets me do a fancy radio voice with all of its nuance, are we at the end of the OST now? We are. But yeah, then I would probably find a way to give her I will buy something from her shop. I don't think she's doing commissions. She's probably far too busy doing merchandise for her con runs. Something I could never do. Ooh, the Binding of Isaac soundtrack. You know, that's a good soundtrack that I never actively think about as being a good soundtrack, so I'm going to do that, actually. Yeah, no, that's a banger soundtrack. I don't know why I haven't even thought about this before. Just good tunes. Yeah. Isaac's soundtrack, great. It's ambient too, but not ambient in the Breath of the Wild way. One thing I'm excited about for Tears of the Kingdom that it has the potential to deliver on all fronts is a better soundtrack. I hope it's good. I hope it's not completely just doodly, doodly, just like 3 stray piano notes, maybe a stray flute every now and then. Just dancing around on its toes in the background. No. Give me the wide sweeping orchestra with the brass and the woodwinds and the strings. I want it all. I'm not going to get emotionally invested unless it seems like an army of people are trying to make me invested in the plot. By playing their hearts out. I'm talking E3 2017 Breath of the Wild trailer type hype. Put it in the game, not in the trailer this time. Get it right, Nintendo. Then maybe I will say you've redeemed yourself on that front. Maybe. I will say the song they've already made good strides in that regard, because the song from the trailer, the spooky one that sounds like inverted notes, that does appear within the opening of the game. Hope that's not too much of a spoiler for anybody, but you know, I'm just saying music exists, and it's music. If you've heard the trailer, you would have already heard it, and if you haven't heard the music in the trailer, then it doesn't matter, because you have no idea what the song I'm talking about even sounds like. So it's actually not even a spoiler at all, unless you've already seen it and heard the music. But yeah, they put a trailer song in the game, and it was a good trailer song. It was very moody. So there's already improvements being made within the first hour. I just can't wait to get to Matt Mercer. Give me his sultry tones. I don't even know when I'm gonna get there. The Lord knows I'm gonna try today. Well, I have a couple days off. I have Friday off and I got Saturday off. Then I start working full time, and I'll probably, just maybe, hurl myself into a ravine. While I'm playing Zelda, though, I would like my last moments to be playing Zelda at the very least. It is speculated that the brain does release some sort of chemical processes and compounds that are akin to those released in a dream state. So perhaps when you die, you get one last dream. And I think it would be a lot easier if when I die, assuming my brain's intact after I fall through this to the bottom of this ravine, that maybe I could influence my dreams by playing Zelda. Maybe I'll be Link for a bit before the Mayan truly goes out. Maybe that's what the afterlife is. The gateway is a dream sequence. That would be nutty. We have no idea. Nobody knows where you go. Some people think they know, but nobody knows. You know? Where'd I put this? Put it below the background one. Of course I did. Nobody's gone there and lived to tell the tale. Some people have written books about that, but I don't believe them. Would you? No, I'm not taking some dude's word for what heaven is, or that heaven is the be-all, end-all. What if it was the Hindus that were right? We have no clue. We don't know. The practitioners of Islam, we don't know. We got no clue. Until we go there. We'll get there when we get there. I'm in no freaking rush, let me tell you that. I eat healthy, I brush my teeth, I exercise. I do all that stuff. Saving recovery information. Thank you, Clip Studio. You know what's crazy about this job? It's a physical job, you know, stocking shelves, and I'm a very skinny man who has, prior to this point, led a very sedentary, a mostly sedentary lifestyle. I did do light cardio before, but now I kind of put that on the wayside because I'm just too tired to do that usually. Sorry, it's still saving. If you're wondering why I'm not doing anything, when I've just assumed that it's still saving if ever there's a pause. But now that I'm doing this manual labor job, is this loud, by the way? It's a little loud. Quiet down, Isaac. Now that I'm doing this manual labor job for 8 hours a day, I've noticed that I've got muscle definition. Now, I am like a very light stick figure man, so it's not too impressive to see muscle definition. Oh, my music buffered. Oh, sick, dude. But I can like see what are those muscles on the side? They start with the ST. Torso muscles. Striatus, perhaps. Is that what they're called? Let me check before I start spewing garbage. This is in Russian. I can't read that. Serratus. Serratus anterior. I can see those now on my own body. I never used to be able to see those. But now I can. Which is nuts to me. I didn't even know if I still had those. I would have thought, based on how skinny I am and have been my entire life, they would have atrophied into nothing by now. It's a miracle I can even rotate myself horizontally. And look around as if, you know, when I'm sitting down in a chair. I also got, I'm not going to say they're impressive, but I got more bicep definition than I did before, which definitely comes from lifting boxes and putting stuff around on shelves for 8 hours. It's just a weird little byproduct that, like, of course makes sense when you think about it. Like, it's manual labor. Of course you're going to get some level of exercise doing it, but it's more than I usually would get when I was, like, in school. Or doing, or, you know, in college, or like after college, doing whatever freelance graphic design work, or the odd illustration every now and then, waiting to get a job, not getting one, and then getting this job. Doing a lot more exercise. It's just like, it's a nice, unintended, for me anyway, benefit of getting this sort of manual labor job. Is that I feel fit, more fit than before. I will say, working night shifts is apparently, in the long run, bad for your heart, so I don't know how long I actually want to deal with this. I told myself, out of politeness, and I owe no obligations to any company, including this one, even though they gave me a job, I don't owe them anything, and they don't owe me anything, so, you know, it's purely transactional. I'm going to keep it that way. But, that said, I said out of courtesy, because I am too nice to things sometimes. I don't know, it's like a compulsory thing. I just feel the need to be nice. Out of courtesy, I said for 3 months, I would not apply to any graphic design positions while I was working here for 3 months. Because if on the off chance that I randomly got one as soon as I started working there, that would have been, like, you know, annoying. I can imagine that being annoying to any hiring manager or HR department, anything at all. So it's been about a couple months now, month and a half maybe, that I've been working there. So in a little while longer, I will fire up the old graphic design career path again and just see if I can get anything. I'm not doing unpaid internships. That's for dang sure. Absolutely not. That is a scam, and nobody should ever do those. My screen is black, by the way. It's not even saving this time. It's just a black screen. So I'll just pray that my stream and my monitor comes back. I've been complaining a lot about it this stream. It feels like worse than usual, so maybe I need to just bookmark all my tabs and then shut her down, and then boot it back up after a bit. That might help. But yeah, I do want a graphic design job, especially because it would normalize my hours. I could have a social life again. I haven't talked to my Discord homies in a bit because I'm always sleeping when they're adding me, playing something like Overwatch or I think the most recent venture was Conan Exiles, and I was actually interested in that one, but I didn't have time. Couldn't join him on that one, regrettably. We do that often. We play survival games every now and then. We beat Valheim together. That was a fun experience. That was definitely before I had a job and I had the free time to do so pretty easily. We got a Twitter notification. Is it lewd? Oh, yes. And I actually clicked on that one, so unfortunately I forgot my own rule. I was trying to just look at the preview, but I clicked on that one. It is an artist's OC making out with Batman for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why. I haven't looked up Batman on Twitter. I don't even particularly look at people's OCs that often on Twitter, unless I happen to stumble upon them while I'm browsing my own feed. And then probably an artist I do follow just happens to like it, and I'm like, ah, neat. They like this, and therefore I see it. But apparently today I've been graced with the appearance of somebody's OC making out with Batman and squeezing their butt. It was happening. That's just what it was. I'm just describing to you what I saw. That's what happened. I didn't have control over it. Would I have drawn it? Probably not. I don't think Batman should kiss. You know, that's just my personal theory. You can contemplate your own character assassination points or what would be the line in the sand for you. But for me, I don't think Batman kisses at all. I don't think he should have any sort of sexual prowess or romantic prowess either. Any level of charisma or debonair. Batman just comes across to me as depressed, socially awkward guy. I mean, you kind of gotta be if you're gonna don a bat costume and hunt down criminals, just as your hobby. Yeah, he's a billionaire, but he doesn't do stuff like have dinner parties or go on yacht visits, yacht trips with his friends, because he doesn't have any, as far as I'm aware. Except for Robin, who I'm pretty sure is his son, though, sometimes. Isn't that right? I don't know. I used to know a bit about Batman lore. It's a little fuzzy. One of the recharacterizations I do think would totally happen, though, is Harley Quinn dating Poison Ivy after the Jonkler rejects her enough times. That seems just like an organic progression. Of course Harley Quinn would get over that whole thing. Like, at some point I would get upset too. Screw that guy. He's a freaking psychopath with weird hair. And he doesn't even like you. It's a toxic relationship. And Nightwing being a himbo, that just checks out. That man is wearing super tights. The entirety of his appearance in the shows and the comics and all of that. Getting with Catwoman, though, I don't know. I've seen some comics do that. With the Batman comics, they get freaking horny on maid sometimes, and I don't know where this came from. But I have seen it. It's not what I would have imagined for the, as a direction for the series to take, but I imagine you've done so much with Batman by this point in time, DC, as a studio. Probably running out of options. The soft core route was inevitable at some point. Could have just made a Batman visual novel by now, I guess. Probably would have made 10 times as much money as a horny comic. That's all I'm saying. Make it a gacha game, too. Who's coming out of the machine? You're dating Batgirl again. Oh, no. That one's problematic, though. You can't be doing that. Especially if you're Batman. No. I know it happens canonically, but it's messed up anyway when it does. He's like a grown dude who, knew her when she was a child. It was weird. It's not explicit grooming, but it's implicit grooming, and it's really, is that any better? I don't think so. Almost done blocking in these base layers. I really should just power through this chapter, or these first few chapters, so I can find a line art brush that actually works and is conducive to this. I'm thinking about swapping out the pencil brush. If I can find a good ink brush that doesn't look like trash when I use it, that would be golden. But I don't know. You gotta find the line art brush that suits your style, and I've tried just your standard G pen, and I hate how it looks when I use it. It looks too samey, too amateur, too bland, which is weird because it's just a uniform line weight, maybe with some minor tapering here and there, but it's not too different in theory from just the brush that I'm using right now. The thin line art seems to work for me, but not when it's a solid line for some reason. I don't know. G pen, pen tools in general, never really gravitated towards them. They always just look kind of gross when I use them, in my opinion. So I use the textured brushes for line art because it looks good compared to the alternative. I don't know how some people do it. I understand if they do it and they use the hyper thin, we're talking 2 or 1 to 3 pixel wide line art, because at that point you could be using any brush and it wouldn't really matter. But the hyper thin line art is a very easy style for any brush to work with, I think, if you can pull it off. It doesn't really matter which brush you're using. It's just hyper thin line art, very anime-esque. You'll see a ton of Pixiv artists adopt that style, because when you render to the level that those Pixiv artists can, you kind of want your line art to fall into the background. They don't really have expressive line weights or very bold outlines to create a lot of contrast. They use all their form in the painting, and the line art is kind of just there to guide you into the rendering. And it's very effective when they do it, but to do that you have to be very good at rendering, and I'm not the best at rendering. I'm not even I gotta re-up myself on my color theory in my lighting game. I've been kind of scratching my head a bit recently, trying to relearn how to do things other than warm highlights, cool shadows, or inverted. Because that's apparently, not how light works. It's a good base if you just truly don't know how light actually works. And that's kind of me at the moment. I'm kind of just defaulting back to it because I have forgotten how light is supposed to actually work in most contexts. I know that there's some things like within color theory, not lighting exact, but within color theory, the more desaturated your colors are, the easier it is for them to blend together within a color scheme. The more saturated it is, the more of a cohesive, color scheme you need to have, and the trickier it is to balance. So usually, hyper-saturated colors are best left as in moderation, perhaps as an accent to highlight certain elements. But you don't want to use it. You don't want, if you use too many saturated colors, then you run the risk of having a garish-looking piece or character design or what have you. Although many deviant artists would, although many DeviantArt artists would prove that correct, there are people though who are exceptions to the rule who just use like a plethora of hyper-saturated colors and they make it work. And I have no idea how they perform this witchcraft. I can barely make desaturated colors work, and those are the ones that are supposed to blend together easier. I can't even imagine how the heck they're doing all this complex color blending and making it look appealing when everything is hypersaturated. I don't know how they do it. They must have made a pact with Satan, perhaps Lucifer himself. I don't know. I've looked into color theory and lighting before, but I haven't fully understood it yet the way I could wrap my head around something like the muscles of the arm in like a few days or a week. I feel like it would take me a bit longer, and it might be in part because I'm colorblind, but with lighting it's like there are quantifiable rules you can adhere to, like with the desaturation and such. That's a thing you can remember. I'm doing a lot of stuttering and repeating the first couple of words, but try not to draw attention to that, even though I just did. But there are things you can observe within color theory and lighting that are just basically universal. You can apply that concept of desaturated colors are going to blend together easier than if they were hypersaturated to any piece. And that's just a broad landmark rule, a blanket statement you can say that is going to be correct. And it's an easy thing. It's like a landmark in anatomy, like it's akin to something like if you were to say something where the hand goes down to the middle of the thigh, for example. There may be exceptions. You can always stylize it to your liking. But that is a rule and a landmark you can use to get your bearings as an amateur or novice or what have you. And so those rules exist, and they're things you can learn. And for me, those are the things I probably have to rely on. But there just seems to be something that I can't quite wrap my head around. When it comes to color and lighting. And I do wonder sometimes if it is just because I am colorblind or if there's something else that I could be doing to improve my learning processes. I don't know. If anyone ever listens to this part of the VOD and decides they have some insight into color theory that they would like to share, you can send that to me even 10 years from now and be like, hey, I saw this video on YouTube from 2023. It is now 2033 in this hypothetical, and you said that I could send you advice whenever about color theory, so here I am. I'll even accept that. I just need a little bit of guidance, and I'm probably just going to go back to binge watching all of Marco Ducci's videos again, because that man is he's a very good man, a very talented teacher on YouTube. And he has a very keen awareness for lighting and environmental ambience and stuff of that, and how it affects art and objects within light and the environment, and etc., etc. He's very good about all that. I, however, am not so intuitive and have no idea what he's doing most of the time, even though I've seen his videos. I have picked up a couple of tips from him, but they've mainly revolved around bounce light. And bounce lighting is effective, but you can only apply it so much. I feel like there's a core foundational element that I'm missing that I would need to. I need some rules that I can apply to everything, not just situations that have bounce light. What if there is no strong light source, or strong enough ambient light source that would allow for bounce lighting? Then what? Then I'm just back to a piece without bounce lighting, and I don't have the foundational elements that I need to make things look more interesting. I need to know what those foundational elements are again, beyond the level of just highlights and shadows and midtones, and how saturation might be affected based on material that you're depicting, you're rendering, and what have you, know, all that. I need something with substance, I do, but I just don't know what. I'll figure it out, maybe. Oops, I don't need that. I don't got time for this. I didn't even color her in this panel. Alright, I'll do that in a second. Heck, we might even finish this page today if I keep pace. We'll see. I won't get my hopes up. But a page done in a couple streams, that'd be blistering compared to the other one that we just did. We could finally find out what's behind this freaking door. Which, when these pages are actually out, won't take that long at all. It's like on page 8. It's not even that many pages. It might even be paced too quickly in the official release. That's something I get nervous about, is pacing. Because you can't ever really feel if you've paced something out well, because I'm too attached to it. Too attached to what I've made. So I won't even know if I've paced something poorly until it's out there. And I start getting questions or people reading the story and being like, I don't understand what's going on. And at that point, you just have to be like, well, I guess I goobered it up somewhere. That's on me. I'm opening up my folder. I gotta see if this waste piece has always been this color. I'm just a little paranoid. Probably should not, apparently, definitely should not have tried to open my folder. My file explorer, perhaps. It was a bad idea. It is taking a long time to open. Whatever, I got time. I got nothing but time. I got time to kill. I got time to spare. I got time to do whatever I please with. Isn't that weird? That we use the terms time to spare and time to kill? Why do we have so much dominion over that time? We have the ability to kill it or show it mercy. That's just strange. I got time to kill. Well, I got time to spare. Well, aren't you special? I'm over here killing my time. Why are you sparing? What has it ever done for you? Why are you killing? It seems wasteful. Killing time? If I could spare it, I would. Given the choice between the two. Killing time, that just seems indecent. Got time to spare, though. That's just downright humane. What am I talking about? I'm losing my mind. This isn't even sleep deprivation. I got plenty of sleep last night. Or not last night, but when I was supposed to. I work it. For those of you who don't know, which is nobody, because I keep talking about it whenever I get the chance. The heck, how'd I get down here? I skipped past this panel. Oh no. My roast is ruined. Alright, we've officially reached the hour mark, which means my mental burnout is taking its toll. I have run out of things to say. I will now be slowly generating conversational topics as opposed to rapid-fire rambling. It's cool that it rounds out to about an even hour of that pretty consistently, though. I do like being able to just kind of spew whatever's on my brain for a while. Because that's what you need to do to stream. Unless you're one of those dead air streamers. I can't stand dead air. I'm trying to fill it as much as I can. Even right now, I've devised a whole routine. It's not a routine, but I've devised this whole conversation with myself about how much I loathe dead air, including examples and anecdotes. For example, there's a local radio station around me. I'm not entirely sure where they broadcast from. I've never cared enough to listen to that much because they're just a talk show, and radio talk shows are the epitome of boredom, and I guess just personified by a group of people in a room. Modern day radio shows, it's like, just get a podcast instead, man. Just listen to it. Just queue up a podcast. I guarantee you the radio talk show is not going to say anything more interesting than something specifically tailored to your interests. These freaking randos, who cares about them? I don't think there's a single radio show host that is a personality that I would stick around for that I've heard once in my life. They all just seem like has-beens who are clinging to the past of the radio show when they had no competition. Then you just go to iHeartRadio or whatever, and they would just be the cream of the crop and nobody could touch them because they had a monopoly over the industry. Something to that effect. But there with the radio talk show host, I remember this local radio station, they would have a question, or they would like read an article headline or something, and they would just leave so much dead air on their it's like they don't even care anymore. They still do this, by the way. My dad listens to the radio sometimes, and whenever I'm in the vehicle with him, say we're driving somewhere, perhaps for dinner, we're going out to eat or something, the talk show will be on, and they have so much dead air. It's like, you guys it is your job to speak on the air. How are you messing that up so bad? On the radio, I would just do so. I would just keep talking, even if I had run out of stuff to say. I would just say anything for the sake of doing it, because that's what I'm paid to do. Then they got co-hosts and stuff. The room, when they're talking, it sounds like it's filled with about 4 or 5 people. And yet they find so much time to just run out of things to say, or noises to make, or anything. You would just be sitting there. They're not playing music because they're a radio talk show. And the whole draw is to hear the people talking and what do they got to say about this particular topic of the evening. And it's just like, well, apparently they have nothing to say. The vast majority of the time. Because you will just sit there and stew in 10 to 20 seconds of awkward silence. Until one of the co-hosts says, yeah, and on to the... So there's this other thing we were supposed to talk about. It's like, oh my god, you guys really just... You really just sat there and went for it, huh? Just ignore that whole rule about how if you're listening to an audio program, you get 10 seconds to keep the listener's attention before they leave. So you kind of constantly have to be providing information to even have a chance at retaining an audience. If you're an audio performer, or someone with an audio platform, or program, and they were just sitting there, and it's like any sane individual would have just turned the radio station, assuming it was broken or something, that they were down. I don't know. I don't know if radio frequencies can be down, but I'm sure they can. I'm sure in a way. But it's just ridiculous to me how they could do that. Well, that is their job, that is their profession, that is what they are paid. Probably way more than I am. To do that job, to sit in a room and not talk about the things that they're supposed to be talking about. Oh, I didn't draw her other hand. Oh, yeah, I should probably do that before I get all in the weeds here. I had trouble with his hand. I didn't really quite know what position it was supposed to be in, so let's try figuring that out now. No, that looks mangled. It's so hard to figure this out. What do I even want this hand to be doing? Maybe I just ball it up into a fist. Is that cheating? No. Doesn't really make sense though in the framing of the thing. That is a gargantuan hand. I'm not trying to go for scale here even. Anyway, I'm trying to go for any semblance of a hand shape, and I don't even know what I want it to do, what angle it should be in. I don't even know if reference would solve this, because I'm not sure what perspective I'm going for. I don't even have a vision in mind for what this hand is, what it ought to be. Saving recovery information. Thank you, Clip Studio. Thank you so much. You're so helpful. I know I could change that saying. Oh god. How am I gonna play Tears of the Kingdom when I'm so sleepy? I'll manage. Don't worry, I'll find a way. That looks like a foot has become her hand. I suppose there is the alternative to dead air, which is filling the air too much. A la, perhaps, XQC. He says so many words in the span of a millisecond that you can't even tell what he's saying. That apparently, well, you know, I would say that might undermine his streaming efforts, but he is one of the most popular streamers in the world, even still has been for years, so maybe that is exactly the key. Leave no dead air. In fact, fill the air with as many sounds as you can, so that the viewer is overloaded with stimulus and they don't know what to do. They can't leave, because they're too busy being caught off guard by what is happening in front. It's like a train wreck. When XQC just starts rattling off, like, and then it's like, oh my god, I have to keep looking. I have to see what he's gonna do next. Maybe you have to watch his stream to understand what's going on, so you're more invested because you're trying to decipher what he's trying to say, and you're relying on the visuals for context clues. Maybe that's how he gets them. He gets you enraptured in what's on screen, the content of the stream, because he is so inept at speaking. I think I've cracked something here. Might be my own skull, but I think it also might be the code. Well, this doesn't look too bad for once, thank Jesus. Something of resembling a hand has come out of this process. This elbow seems a little too high, though. I can tell you that much. Yeah, that already seems better. Alright, we have something, ladies and gentlemen. It only took like 10 minutes when we got there. There had to be some kind of hang-up. A better artist than I would have just nailed that in one try. But I am no better artist. I am what they call a mediocre. On a good day. I will say I have lost a bit of the, I can feel it within myself that I have lost a bit of the artistic fire that I had before. I used to constantly be stressing out about improving, and it's, you know, it's for the best that I don't feel this way anymore now, but I used to constantly feel the urge to improve, and I would always feel myself plateauing, and that's how you know you were actively observing things beyond your skill level and working to improve at them, is when you notice things that are better than what you do, and you notice your own skills plateauing, and when you notice that you seem to hit like sort of a barrier of where you want to be and what you can do. I don't really feel that sensation anymore, and I feel like that's a result of me not having studied as much as I maybe should. I don't really notice areas of improvement anymore, at least as much as I used to. Like, I notice them, but I guess I just don't, I'm not actively searching for them and working to remedy things that I view as worse than I want them to be or incorrect. And I feel, I don't think it's bad, but I do think I run the risk, if I fall into that mindset a bit too much, that I run the risk of becoming artistically sedentary, so to speak. Artistically stagnant, creatively stagnant, maybe? Perhaps the better way to phrase it. And I was doing studies before, but even during those anatomy studies, I was never really working towards I don't know, it felt different than improvement in a way, but I'm not entirely sure how, because at the core of it, that's what those exercises were for, improving at anatomy and then the clothing studies as well. And I do feel like I gleaned some useful information from doing them. But it doesn't really feel like it was transformative improvement. Maybe it was like, it feels like it was kind of almost superficial in a way. And I wonder if that's just a result of me having a better understanding of the core fundamentals in regards to anatomy and form as it relates to clothing folds, and, you know, that's really all just depicting form at that point, whether through value or line. That's all that is conveying form. So maybe it's just that my familiarity with form and anatomy is higher than what it was in the past, in those particular topics. And my perception of improvement in those fields is different than how it used to be. I don't know. I've arrived to steal the jail. Hello, Halber. It's a pretty big jail. I don't know. You're gonna need at least a truck or two, and a couple of guys who are willing to help you lift some heavy objects. Otherwise, I don't see you getting out of here with the jail. Otherwise, I would have done it a long time ago. Why do you think? You think I haven't thought of stealing the jail? Of course I've thought of stealing the jail. It was one of the first ideas I had when I got in here. When I hit the slammer, I got a spoon. Now that's just crazy enough to work. Will that work? Maybe. I don't know, I haven't tried. Nothing is impossible. Which is just a lie, by the way. Some things are definitely impossible. Like stealing a jail, perhaps. Alright, we did it. We freaking flatted the characters. Stop yawning. Right now. What kind of message are you sending to people watching your stream? That it's boring? No, it's that I'm tired, honestly. Which shouldn't be, because I got tons of sleep. I don't know what the deal is. Oh, that looks kind of neat. Look at that. It's like a vector poster without my line art. Look at that. Isn't that neat? So, Halber, where do you stand on The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom? Or do you have it? Are you gonna get it? Are you not gonna get it? Are you avoiding spoilers? What's going on? You watching Let's Plays? Let me get a read on that. Since it's the talk of the town right now. I got a copy earlier today. It showed up way faster than I thought it would. I pre-ordered it yesterday, and it showed up today. That's good service. For as much as I hate Amazon.com, they do be providing video games. I'll get it someday, avoiding spoilers. I see, I see. I, for one, and I won't spoil, am enjoying the experience. That's all I will say. The opening couple of hours have been very interesting, very intriguing. Won't actively avoid spoilers, but won't watch people streaming it. I'm actively avoiding that because I am playing. The only thing I heard that I was willing to even glean knowledge on was that the story is good, and that's all I needed to hear. Now I own the game. If the story was on like the same level as Breath of the Wild, which in my opinion is its weakest attribute, I probably wouldn't have bought it day one. But you know, now that I hear the story is good, of course I'm gonna play. I'm freaking drop me in there. Put me in right now. In fact, after the stream, I'm gonna go play it immediately for like 10 hours. Just not stop. I'm gonna do that. It's gonna be great. You need to avoid spoilers by not playing the game? No! I need the spoilers, but at my own pace. That's what I need. Oh, and I also need my Clip Studio to stop lagging, actually. Yeah, that's not all that I do. I might need to get a glass of water so I can splash it in my face. Just wake myself up. Only thing I hate about Breath of the Wild is no magic. Yeah, you can get the little wandies. Whatever you got from the One People isn't magic, it's more like skills or gifts. Talking about the runes? Or the Sheikah Slate abilities? What are you referring to specifically? I will say, if that's what you're referencing, I think the fact that they have sort of coalesced dungeon items and magic into sort of the Sheikah Slate runes in Breath of the Wild. I won't say that was my favorite change. I do kind of prefer the magic system and the dungeon item progression from the previous games. The great beast skills things from the Dead People Ghost. Yeah. The divine beast skills. For sure. They were very limited in both the number of times you could use them and the function that they had. So they weren't particularly interesting. The most interesting one was probably Urbosa's, because you could just use it whenever you want. And it was good for combat. But you know, outside of that, it's good. You can use it like 3 times, you gotta recharge for like 10 minutes. It's like, ugh. I know it's broken and overpowered, but it's kind of, I don't know, really. It feels like a mobile game power-up where I had to pay 50 cents to use it. But my new Switch Pro controller arrived today. Great timing, nice. Pizza is done, also nice. A lot of good things happening in the land of Halberd. Let me zoom in on this real quick. Look at this tiny little corner looking all dumb. Alright, I fixed it with my genius art skills. Herm. Another Twitter notification? Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos interested in purchasing Formula One. Who cares? Why did I even get that? That has nothing to do with any of my interests. Is it because I said the word Amazon? Is Twitter listening to me? Wouldn't surprise me. They always be listening. Always watching. Whoops, nobody look at the screen. There was dialogue, confidential dialogue on there for but a fraction of a second. You are not allowed to see that. At least not yet. Nobody is allowed to pause the VOD or the video and go back and look. Probably won't even be the final text. I'm changing my scripts all the time because I'm unsatisfied with them. It's just how it be. Another thing I want to improve at is the placement of my text bubbles. Now I can't really show you any as an example because they all have the story in them right now. But you'll notice this placement here is very organic. That seems good. There's a lot of negative space here that could be occupied well by a speech bubble. It's a good place for it. But other times with the other pages, I'll just have put them like, I don't know, here, and they'll be partially obscuring the dang face or the carrot. I'll put it here. It'll just cover part of the illustration that's not good to do. I am back. Welcome back. I'm talking about my speech bubble placement and how I wish I was better at doing it. Not terrible at it, but I could be better. For now, though, I think I'll just flat in the values of the character so that I can delay working on the backgrounds, even though they're not particularly complex, for this opening scene. The most complex panel I had to draw was this one, and I did it already. Tie this. Clip to layer below. Give me that multiplication layer. Right now. And then we'll just put values on it. Stop yawning. What's wrong with you? Stop it. What did I just say? Me? How many times do I have to teach myself this lesson? At least once more, it would seem. Ooh, there we go. And then we can get out the old blur tool as we are wont to do. This is in Isaac? I don't recall ever hearing this song. I say that often on stream though. Oh no, I've hit Control S again and my computer's exploding. Let's go over yonder to this one. Just put the mold. It's the easiest way to shade. It's probably the easiest way. Most people are going to tell you how to do it. Some people probably got an interesting way to do it. They probably don't use blue exclusively for their multiply layer, but I do. For the sake of time, the only resource that counts. I will say, without spoiling anything, because I'm trying not to, I did feel a little disappointed in myself. Because the first puzzle of, not Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, took me not long to figure out, but it felt like my motor skills reverted back to those of a 5-year-old, perhaps a 5-year-old me. Like I had solved the puzzle minutes ago, but for some reason my the way the brain was conveying the ideas to my fingers, it took me so long to get my idea to work. And the idea was correct. I had solved the puzzle. But I don't. All I learned from the first puzzle of Tears of the Kingdom is that I could never be a surgeon. Because, my god, these hands. These cursed hands. I don't know what they were doing. But the pubble. Oh no. My speech patterns are reverting to that of a 5-year-old too. It's getting worse. It's advancing. I am infantilizing. But the puzzle had been solved. I had solved the puzzle. And the most infuriating thing is, the most infuriating sensation I've discovered is not a puzzle you cannot solve. It is a puzzle that you have solved, that you are having trouble trying to put the pieces together. It is just it feels like a weird barrier has been set upon you. Does this work if I like taper this here? Let's see. Kinda. Maybe if we put this a little bit more pronounced here, get this volume. It's a little better. I like it. I'm gonna keep it. Me when I find stray animal. Then we'll go to the eraser tool, get some of this out of here. You're working hard instead of gaming. Proud of you, son. I am not your son. I would know. Mother's Day is but upon us. I had to check and make sure I actually prepared accordingly. And if I had to buy presents for another mother, I would know. Welcome in, Swan. If anything, you are like an estranged cousin. The weird one. That's right. That one. You know the one. And I await. Oh no, wait, is it this weekend? Yes, indeed. It is May 14th. Have you not prepared, Swan? Are you a terrible daughter? Has this been confirmed just now in my chat? A strange, weird cousin. There it is. I was waiting for it. Now I'll show you. The one you invite to Thanksgiving out of obligation? Oh, no. Now that you put it that way, it sounds so much more offensive. But yes, no. The one who talks about NFTs and politics a little too much. No, I still have time. That's the most copium thing I've ever read. And it is May 12th as we speak. You have less than 48 hours. TikTok. And I ain't talking the Chinese spyware sent over from overseas to monitor what our 13-year-olds are doing, I guess. Has anyone ever thought about that logistically? Like, why the heck would China use TikTok to spy on us? Who cares what our Zoomers are doing? You know I hate those? What are you talking about? What do you mean, those? What did I say? You're gonna have to catch me up with it. You gotta get me up to speed on the things that I say, because I forget the moment it leaves my mouth. Do you hate Zoomers? Because I am one of those, and I resemble that statement. That ability of mine, which is to immediately forget what I said, is going to get me in trouble one of these days. Somebody will gaslight me. Oh, NFTs in politics? Okay, good. Yeah, that's right. I did say that. I said those, and I forgot. Isn't that neat? You know, I've never been too worried about early onset Alzheimer's, but I've always been a little worried. And it's moments like that that don't help my anxieties about the situation. There's not a strong family history for it, but I do believe my grandfather, on my dad's side, was losing his mind a bit on the way out before he passed. My dad has told me some stories about my grandfather. I didn't know him that well, but it didn't seem like he was all there when the time came, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, I hate this one Green Goblin Zoomer specifically. How dare you? Who is he? I'll show him to upset my friend Swan. I ought to teach him some manners. Sounds like a real jag-off. It's okay while I'm streaming, sometimes I forget what I say immediately too. It seems so unfortunate when it happens. It's very unsettling. Clip this to the layer below, please. Can't you see I'm working here? And then this one, and then this one, and then we go here, and then yada bada bing bada boom. Hey. There's that stream of consciousness talk, you gotta do it. I went on a whole tirade earlier about how there's this local radio station that broadcasts. I can't remember the number or what they're called, but occasionally when I'm in the same vehicle as my parents and we're driving somewhere, wherever it may be, that radio talk show will be on. And they are paid to say things about topics, so you would imagine they would be particularly good at it. And I brought up there's a rule, it's a rule of thumb with audio platforms when you're speaking, and that is the mode of conveyance for information or entertainment, that you should not leave more than 10 seconds of dead air at any given moment, because that is the time that it takes for an audience member to get bored and leave. And these guys, as professional radio broadcasters, would just say the most bland, banal thing about the topic they were bringing up, like being, oh yeah, you know what, I was thinking the same thing. And then this room full of 3 or 4 professional broadcasters would just sit in stone cold silence for about 10 to 20 seconds, and you would just hear all of it in the middle of your vehicle driving down the road, the ambient road noises around you, and you would just hear, oh yeah, another thing I wanted to bring up, and then they would just move on to the next topic, and it's so awkward. I don't know how they're still on the air. Like, at that point, I would just default, at the very least, to the stream of just say anything, make a noise. Well, I'm doing everything wrong, then I think you're pretty good at maintaining air time. Not in, like, the Tony Hawk Pro Skater sense, but in, you know, in regards to streaming. I don't notice too many moments where you are particularly stone cold silent, or you haven't just talked about anything in a while. And when you are doing that, say perhaps with Potionomics, there are things to look at on screen that you as a streamer are focusing on. The audience can get visual clues and get indicators as to why there may be dead air time. Like when like I know when you're brewing those potions in Potionomics, that's when it tends to get the most silent. But even then, contextually, a viewer would look at the screen, see the brewing happening, and probably know that there's dead air. If there is any. I gotta be Tony. I do notice dead air and try to fill it with sweet tricks. With some, God, this would be the perfect time to actually know literally any skating trick. Any name. I used to know them. And Ollie, that's all I got. What's the one with the angel? In the skateboard trick. Angel. What is that one called? I hate how much I have to focus on brewing. It's not called the Angel Flip. What is this thing I'm thinking about? Not Chris Angel Mind Freak. Definitely not that. Is it called the Christ Air? Christ Air? Christ Air. Tony Hawk. That's it. It's called the Christ Air. I knew there was Jesus in there a little bit. I'm gonna go mow the lawn. Have a great stream, Gabino. Thank you for stopping in, Holiday. You go mow that. Show it who's freaking boss. Do whatever you show it. Learn it its lesson. Show it what it means to be a lawn. Ow, my finger. Swan, did you know there's Blu-rays of Kaiji out there? I didn't until earlier today, and now my wallet is going to be slightly lighter. By the week's end, I think. Actually, what day is it? Thursday today? Friday now, right? Friday. Maybe next week, when I get paid again. So I don't feel too guilty about it. I did feel guilty today because I bought gifts for my mother for Mother's Day, and then not 2 days before Mother's Day I get a package, and it is The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which I got earlier today. So it's like, do I look selfish right now? Maybe, but rest assured, Mother, I did buy you things. I did do that. The Blu-rays got you. It was gonna happen. For sure it was going to happen. It was just a matter of when. Now I'm looking at hardcover mangas being like, oh, God, why are these so expensive and why do I almost not care? That seems irresponsible of me. And yet, that hardcover Berserk volume does look very enticing. What's the full set? Oh, only a few $100. That surely wouldn't set me back too much. A few $100 to be specific. With spending power, I'm very bad with power. I'm coming to realize I don't have it often, so having to readjust to that, while also keeping in mind that I do have to pay for things like my car payments and my phone bill now, because of course I do. That only makes sense. It's just like, oh god, it's so hard to not just spend all of your money at the same time when you have it. So painful to have a modicum of restraint. I'm not used to it. I don't like it. Frankly, it makes me sick. I'm gonna throw up very soon. If this keeps up. What the heck is this? Where did this come from? Ah, where did I do that? Alright, get out of here. Rascally little shading there. Get out of here. I need a new multiply layer. Another. An overarching one. You gotta fill in the broad forms before you fill in the specific forms. I have done that backwards, but I have done it regardless, and it works. Is it a little too heavy here, perhaps? Maybe. I think I might add another little mini panel here. Might just cut this off or something. Yeah, I might do that. I'll think about it. I can always do it later. Right now I'm doing value passes, so I don't have time for shenanigans, like whether or not I may or may not add something. How much is the entirety of the Twilight Princess manga? Let me look that up real quick. I'm not easily distracted. I've been thinking about this for the past, like, 30 minutes. It's completely reasonable. Volumes 1 through 10 are $100, I see. How many volumes are there? There's only paperback, which makes me upset. Everything deserves... Oh, here's volume 11. That came out when? April 11th, 2023. So there might only be 11 volumes. Which would be pog for me. Because I have wanted to read this. Apparently it's the best one of the Zelda mangas. Looking at more things to buy. Yes! Not ashamed. What else was I looking at? There was something else I was here for a reason. I wasn't just gonna look at a manga. I've already forgotten. Ah, God, freaking Alzheimer's. I don't have it, but maybe I do. Oh, did we run out of music? Or is it just buffering? No, it's a jump scare. Did you calm down, Binding of Isaac soundtrack? I was just asking a question. You don't gotta drop that on me like, duh, the music is still playing. Idiots? God. I was just curious. Don't even ask about the music, it said to me. Why are my tools so large? I need smaller tools. Whoops, that's going to select the whole canvas. Perfect. I think this might need to be another multiply layer. You can always just add more. Always. And I was also gonna buy Wild Frost too, because that game looks really sick. And now I'm just like, oh man, there's too many things to buy now that I can buy them. This is a nightmare. Maybe I should just donate to charity. I'd probably get the similar level of satisfaction, and also it would take a fraction of the time to get that gratification. You just do it, and there you go, it's done. You get your happiness filled in. You don't gotta do it, you don't have to like play a video game or something. You just donate to charity, and then it's done. And then you can do it again in the future. And then you're actually making a difference. Maybe I should just be a philanthropist instead. Make life so much easier. All you gotta do is give up your earthly desires. It's not even that hard. Gandhi did it, except he didn't. Gandhi is a liar, by the way. In case none of you knew this, Gandhi was a little bit of a scumbag. Sure, he made a lot of very important social change, but he wasn't a very nice person while he was doing it. Apparently, he would not allow his followers to use medicine, but would send people out to go get medicine for him should he become ill. Bit of hypocrisy there from old Gandhi. The paragon of mankind's decency, or so it would seem. Apparently his civilization depiction was not so far from what the truth was. Maybe he would fling a nuke, if given the chance. And then all we could say is we should have seen it coming. What layer is this on? Where are you? Oh, you're here. Okay. Not a hypocrite. Yeah, he's done the worst cardinal sin imaginable. He did a thing that he told people not to do. And for that, I believe the appropriate punishment is death, for sure. Unfortunate, but that's how it goes. I don't make the rules. Thank God I don't make the rules. You guys are lucky I don't make the rules. My rules would be so messed up. I don't know nothing about equality, equilibrium, egalitarianism. I don't really know. Hammurabi's Code, the purest form of equality there is. That's what we would get under my rule. Eye for an eye. Unless you're a rich person, in which case you just have to pay a fine. So maybe they weren't entirely all good back then. Didn't have it entirely figured out. Kind of just repeating a lot of the issues we make to this day, if you ask me. But that's fine. See, I'm deciding to be a little lenient on my dead air right now because I've been filling dead air for a couple hours now. I've earned a break. The only other stimulus on the screen is this artwork, and that is far from interesting to anyone but me. Because only I know what any of this stuff means. There's a lady opening a door. What's behind the door? I know, but nobody else knows. Y'all don't know. And there's nothing interesting about a door that you don't know what's behind it. Unless you're writing a horror series, in which case I guess that would be the whole point. But I'm not writing a horror series, to my knowledge. Maybe the series will evolve over time, I don't know, but I doubt it. I'm not too keen on doing horror. It's not my wheelhouse. You have to be good at tension and release. Same thing with comedy. I'm not planning on doing a comedy for that reason. I don't think I'm good at writing comedy. Have I tried? No. So I have no idea. I have no way of saying for sure. It just feels like something I wouldn't be particularly adept at. But a fantasy action series, I could fill the whole world with the pages of pseudo-intellectual schlock that I think has inherent meaning within it. That sounds cool to me. And poignant and salient. I can do that forever. And so I will. At least to start. But you funny man, you make the funny I don't make the funny comic. I've never made one funny comic in my life. I guess I did do that Legend of Zelda one, but that one was really just more stupid than funny. There was no punchline, really. Other than Link being a suicide bomber. Which I think has been played out. Not quite to the degree of Mario perhaps eating mushrooms. That might be the most overused joke in video games. Or in video game parody. But that is probably the only funny comic I have ever made. So that's what I do. Needless to say, my track record is stellar. Perhaps glowing is the... iridescent, maybe? Whoops. My keyboard is falling off of its stool. Now, doesn't that just sound ridiculous to anyone who isn't me? Sorry, it's just the state of the world that we live in. I have a keyboard stool. I'm sorry, and it almost fell off of the stool. That's just how it is. The facts don't care about your feelings. So, Swan, while you're here, if someone were to hypothetically purchase an item off of your shop off of feelings of unresolved minor guilt over a headset that they may or may not replace within the near future, or semi-distant future, I'm not too keen on it yet. I'll figure out the details later. What would you recommend they buy from your shop? And the answer can't be nothing. You can't say nothing. I have forbidden that answer before you can even say it. Stop it. Nope. You hear this clicking noise? This is me opening your store right now. I hope that picked up on mic. I told you get a keyboard tray. Here I go again on my own. Going down the old Avenue. I found it. It wasn't even hard. It was easy. Free shipping. What a deal. I didn't even need Magpie for that. The Lynx Wizard. No? What do you mean no? Oh, you mean you don't want people to see this? I said as a black screen goes up. Give me a moment. I'll do it live on stream and show my whole credit card number. Just to do this is not how you alleviate guilt. It's my guilt. It's not yours. Let's see what we got going on here. Look at my cursor's moving all over the website. Can't do nothing about it. I'm browsing. Look at all this. I don't even know how to pick. There's so many things I could buy. This large mouse pad. I have no desk space. And yet 3 people have this in their cart. Swan, what's going on? 3 people? Stop. I don't even know where to put charms, but would I buy them? Maybe. Disgusting. Look at these glowing reviews. You got 72 5-star reviews. That is a large mouse pad, though. Get a load of that. That would not fit on my desk for sure. Buy a desk? Nope. I don't think so. Would I recognize anybody on this shop? Probably not. Maybe if I scroll far enough. Who's on page 8? Check it out. Oh, look at purchases from 2017. I definitely would not recognize them. Catherine Zeta-Jones? That's nuts. I didn't know they bought from you. Stop looking. What desk am I up? I'm gonna look up big desk, and we'll just see how much that costs. I guess $3,000. Is that what you want me to spend to take out a loan for a $3,000 desk? A 1,000. Where am I gonna put a U desk, Swan? I don't have room for a U desk. I don't have an office. I have a bedroom. $400 for this desk that I'm looking at right now. Can't believe this. I have no room. I don't have any room. I have a room, which is already filled to the brim with a bed and this computer desk, and there's a dresser over there. There's the nightstand. There's an amp. There's a guitar amp. My desk was not $3,000. Well, then link me your desk, and I'll see what's so cool about it. Mine was maybe $200, if that. I'm bad at looking because I get very lazy. Unless I'm looking for a specific Blu-ray that I would perhaps buy as an impulse purchase, then I'll look so hard. Too hard, even. Oh, to change the subject entirely, because I like to do that. Since tomorrow, I'm assuming there is going to be a stream tomorrow. Since tomorrow, if I'm assuming correctly, even though I know what assuming does, if tomorrow is indeed a Potionomics stream, it might be the last time I might even be able to catch a Friday stream in full live, considering my full-time position starts And Friday is not one of my days off. Turns out Wednesday is my day off, which I still withhold is the, or uphold is the dumbest thing that could have happened to me, but it's what happened. Do you think you could hurry up and get Mint to rank 10 while I'm there? Tomorrow, for the love of God, it's the only thing I care about in this world. That's all I ask. Won't you shake an old sinner's hand? Or is it poor sinner's hand? I don't know, I forget. Probably poor sinner's hand. This isn't my desk, but it comes with a keyboard tray. Huh? Okay. For whatever. Fancy schmancy keyboard tray. Noble, well. Yeah, indubitably. Interesting. Yo, this do be looking rustic, though. I kinda dig it. Don't worry, I saved her rank 10 for you, buddy. Oh, thank God. Oh my God, thank you so much. It's all I need before I leave for this new era of Zotan, the capitalist slave. It's not one of my proudest arcs, but it is one that I will have to adhere to for a while. Because I need the cash. This is a nice looking desk, by the way. It's got so much room for activities. I'll keep that one in mind. Thank you very much. Ew, Isaac soundtrack with vocals. Leaving for the mines. I wish that I worked in a mine shaft sometimes. That's not true. Mine shaft labor is notoriously awful, in every sense of the word. You know, these vocals are kind of killing my vibe. Anyone else? Anyone else freaking weirded out right now? I get that's probably the point, but it's doing too good of a job right now. Make sure the dimensions fit your monolith. I mean, the PC they have on display here looks like twice as big as my monolith, so I think it should be fine. What is it, 9 inches by 18 on that? Yeah, that's plenty of room for my monolith. The monolith, it may look imposing, but it's not much of a hog in terms of size. Oh, and this little elevated monitor space for keeping things at eye level, that'll be nice. I do find myself in shrimpy posture a little bit too often. Singing to myself some, the heck is the name of that song? Caro Caro Bonito. How many shrimp do you have to eat until your skin turns pink? And I'm like, that's me, I'm the shrimp. Has it been 2.5 hours yet? Can I go play Tears of the Kingdom now? I'm not in a rush, but I would like to just play that game for like 10 hours straight. Is that too much to ask? Can a man just have no inhibitions for like a second? Do I have to shrink this? I might have to shrink that. Maybe I will shrink that. Maybe I won't shrink that. I don't know. Needless to say, we have done the value passes. So now all I gotta do are the backgrounds. And I probably only gotta do a couple. Is a man allowed to give in? Can he just do it even once? Just let the man give in one time? Actually, I've noticed I don't have any gradients on this thing. Oops, what did I do? I don't know what I clicked on. Uh-oh. Ah, there's a QR code. Don't scan that. I don't know what that does. I might have just leaked my address. No, I don't know what happened. Through Clip Studio Paint. I don't even think that window popped up, actually. There's a QR code that showed up on my screen. Luckily, I don't use a desktop screen capture, a display capture, I believe it's called. I just capture the Clip Studio application itself, so any secondary windows that pop up, luckily, pretty sure, don't show up for you people. Which is good for me, because that would have been a nightmare. If you guys could just see everything popped up on my screen. Including the Twitter lewds that definitely don't show up at all. And there's more vocals in the Isaac tracks? Stop it. I don't like the vocal tracks in the Isaac OST. Yeah, this kind of sounds like a David Bowie track though. Go off, King. I changed my mind entirely. I don't think I saw anything, but I also glanced away at that time. Good. I hope nothing of value was gleaned from that by anyone. Put down the lewds. I don't have any. Can't put down what I don't have. I don't have any. Checks my homework folder. I got nothing. I don't have a homework folder, but I do have a folder in my Documents tab where all my secret references go. And they are references for the record. They are purely educational. Oh, are we out of music now? Alright. Now I need new music. I don't know. I could listen to Zelda music in honor of the arrival of the one true king, but I did that yesterday. Transistor soundtrack, maybe. This was never really my... Well, just go to the Hades one, why don't you? Yeah. Like riding a bike, you never forget it. I didn't even realize, though, it's basically the end of the stream anyway. And I don't know if I want to get caught up in the weeds of background rendering today, so... I might just end shortly, regardless. And only partially because I really want to play the Zelda game that's in my living room right now. There's Matthew Mercer Ganondorf in there, alright? I don't think I'm the one at fault here for making a game irresistible. Nintendo, it's your fault. You can't be doing that to me. Wait, that wouldn't be how it is. It would be how I had it before. Yeah, that looks more like the lighting that I had established. I almost went bass-ackwards there. Alright, I think I'm gonna stop though for today, because background rendering is gonna make me so tired. I'm already so tired. I just wanna play Zelda for about 4,000 years. And then I'll wake up. And then it'll be fine. Because the world will have turned to ash and dust. Let's just get a glance over at how this whole thing looks. With none of the blue on it. Looks pretty alright, I would say. This looks a little whack, but that's probably just the guidelines underneath it. Probably gonna fix this little wooden plank to be a little smaller. But other than that, things are looking fine. This page is going by a lot quicker than the other ones, I'll say that much. Which is nice. But that's it for me today. Hey, yo, Hades, can you be quiet? Thank you. Thank everybody who stopped by. Swan, I will give you money one of these days, don't you worry. I'll catch you guys next time on Monday, where I will then be, from that point being, I will be a full-time employee. So I hope my streams can maintain at least a little bit of energy. I don't just want to be a zombie on stream the whole time, but that might be the kind of Zotan you get for a while, until I adjust to a 40-hour work week again, of manual, physical labor. But regardless, the streams will continue, that I can assure you. For as long as I don't pass out before I'm supposed to do them. Which has happened, and will happen. Good work, go sleep. No, I'm playing Zelda. I'm playing Zelda for sure. It's my day off. Haha. Keep your filthy money away from me. Nope, it's gonna find its way right in your mailbox. I'm gonna make a paper airplane out of it. I'm gonna throw it out my window. It's gonna glide all the way over to Texas. And you're gonna be like, damn it. Except you wouldn't curse. Because it'll probably happen while you're streaming if my sense of timing has anything to say about it. And you'll be like, darn it. Gosh dang. But yeah, that's it for me. I'll catch you guys later. And bye-bye.